All right, everyone. Thank you very much for joining in. This is your one and only Waka Waka Doctor, of course, bringing you migration tips from across the world to give you options that you can use to move abroad. You know, here we talk about moving abroad via the job route. We talk about moving abroad through education as well. If you're new here, I want to say welcome. Thanks for joining me. But if you've always been there from day one, I want to say thank you. I love you and thanks for joining. My YouTube channel has loads and loads of videos that you can watch if you want to move to several countries, either through the job route or through education. And so, if you can think of that country, I probably have a video on my YouTube channel that discusses it. If you want to move to the UK, to Canada, to Australia, to New Zealand, to Finland, to Norway, to Sweden, to Germany, to Portugal, to Malta, to Switzerland, to Poland, to Ireland, any country you can think of, France, Belgium, Italy, Spain, I probably have a video that talks about it. Good. So, the first place you want to start is my YouTube videos. Watch my YouTube videos. Watch videos that I've made on my Instagram feed. They have loads and loads of information that you need. If you need to contact me, the best way to do it is to send me an email. You will not be able to get across to me through my social media platforms. Sending me an email at wakawakadoctor at gmail.com is the easiest way to get across to me. Today, we'll be talking about a place that is not often talked about, a place that a lot of people probably don't know, but it's opening up at the moment, and I thought that we should talk about it today. We're talking about moving to Australia, and I've got a friend of mine who lives in Australia and talks about Australia on our channel. And so we'll be talking about moving to Australia today. We'll try as much as possible to answer as many questions as we can, just the way we always do it. So I'm going to bring her up straight away. Let's talk about Australia. This is going to be a two-part video, one today and one tomorrow, where we'll talk about moving to Australia via the job route, and we'll talk about moving to Australia via education. So both ways if you want to go to Australia. So I'm going to wait so that we can do this. Australia is the way we are going today. Let's see. There she is. How are you?
Hi. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you very much for joining.
Thank you for having me.
Your time confuses me. What time is it now in Australia?
It's 9:07 p.m. on Saturday night.
Oh, you are still in Saturday. You haven't entered Sunday
No,
yet.
we've not entered, but we'll soon enter. I make sure to specify the day that we're in, because sometimes we're already ahead of everyone.
It's amazing. It's amazing. But thank you very much for doing this. And you know, I like to keep my videos short and bam, so that we can answer as many questions as possible. So we're going to jump straight away. Tell us a little bit about Australia. A lot of people, for me, when I think about Australia, the first thing that comes to mind is kangaroos. Tell us, Australia.
Okay, not just kangaroos. There's the snakes, all the dangerous, things in the world. That's what people say. But yeah, Australia is very beautiful. It's a beautiful country. Like, there's so many beaches. The weather is good. So I like to think of Australia as something like Canada, but warm. Because yeah, the weather is a bit warm. It's not as cold as Canada. Of course, they're colder states, but it's mostly warm. In Australia, and it's really beautiful. They speak English. I know some people think they don't speak English and whatnot. There are many Nigerians here. There are Africans here as well. So yeah, it's a really beautiful country and very family friendly as well. So if you have family, and education is good here as well. So it's a really nice country.
I've heard so many things about Australia, and let me just put this out there that Australia is one of the places I'm thinking of moving to. To as a final destination, either Australia or Canada. I haven't decided yet, but
come to Australia. Forget about Canada. Just come here.
Tell us a little bit about the education. What's the education like in Canada compared to those in where they call the Western world in Europe and America? What's the education like there?
It's excellent. I mean, if you look at the top 100 universities in the world, you will find at least seven Australian universities. So yeah, I mean that tells you something. It's definitely, um, has very excellent education here in Australia. So yeah.
Okay, perfect. Now, one of the difficulties with respect to moving to some of these countries is people always say, "Oh, IELTS, IELTS,"
Mm.
or they say, "Oh, I have a second class low, I have a third class, I have HND," and I know that there are some places in Australia, some schools in Australia that you don't require IELTS, some that accept
Yeah,
HND, or some that accept your second class lower or third class. Can
yeah,
you give us a list of some of these universities in Australia that would give one these options?
yeah. So usually the top tier universities don't request for IELTS. I mean, an example is University of Sydney, Macquarie University, UTS. They don't ask you, and I know there's one in Melbourne here. Like it's called La Trobe University. If you're a Nigerian, they don't ask you for IELTS. So there are quite a number of universities that actually don't ask. You just need to check which one is asking you or which one's not. But they're quite, a number that you don't need to write IELTS, which is a good thing. If you have HND, you may have to do like a graduate certificate, but it doesn't deter you from still applying because people with HND still move here to do their education. If you have a third class, to be honest, in Australia, it doesn't matter too much, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, if you have a third class, it's Australia is like a leveler, really. Like it doesn't even matter what uni you go to, you end up still getting a job. Like it it's not like America where there's the Ivy League and the, it's really a leveler here. There's not a wide gap too much. So yeah, if you have the HND, you may have to do graduate certificate, and if you have third class, shouldn't matter too much. You will definitely find something in
Okay.
uni. Yeah.
Guys, like I always do at the end of this video, I will post the names of the universities and links as well in the description box. You just need to go through the description box to
Yeah.
know the names of those universities. Another question I have is, what's the minimum tuition? I know, say for us in the UK, education is very expensive. And what universities have started doing in the UK is, creating an instrumental payment for people to be
Mm,
able to pay these fees.
yeah.
Is there something like that in the in Australia? Can we pay in installments, and how much is this fees? Because I've heard it could be expensive at times.
It is expensive. But right now, because the Australian government, they're looking for students to come in. A lot of universities now are offering like scholarships, scholarship discounts on tuition. So when you fully pay, they give you like a discount, such as what they're doing in the UK right now. But one particular one that comes to mind that gives scholarships is called Torrens University. So it's TORRENS. It's called Torrens University, and they are actually the most affordable uni in Australia. I mean, I might be wrong, but yeah, they're the most affordable, and it could range from like 12, 13, 14K per semester, depending on the,
That's Australian dollars.
yes, Australian dollars, and it depends on the course that you're doing. And Torrance again in particular has a payment plan. A lot of the other ones, you pay semester by semester. So before you come in, you have to pay the first semester as upfront, but then subsequently you pay like, as you go. But I know Torrance offers like a payment plan where, you have an arrangement with them where they can help you with like the payment plan. But Torrance particularly is like a choice for student because it's affordable, and their options. You have payment plan and they have scholarships as well. So your torrents is like, I really recommend that one for people with like budget,
Budget.
challenges and
It's
all of
very
that stuff.
budget friendly.
Budget
Okay.
friendly, yes.
Okay. Fantastic. Another excuse that people probably ask is, can we work while studying? Can we bring family? That's questions that I've got from people. Is it possible to come with family? Is it possible to work while we study? If I come with a spouse, are they able to work?
This is best time to come if you're looking to work, because before now you would only, as the student, you have only 20 hours per fortnight to work. But right now the government has relaxed that rule, so you can work as much as 40 hours or more per fortnight, like every normal person in Australia, which is really good. It's because of these shortages in like workforce. They're trying to combat that. So right now, if you're a student, you can definitely work like full out, like work as long as work till you kill yourself. You know, doesn't really matter. But we don't know when. It's still further notice, so we don't know when they'll stop that. But for now, you can work. But what used to happen before is 20 hours per fortnight. But the question about the spouse, yes, people, a lot of people here come with their family members and their family. So if you have a partner, your partner can work full time regardless of the new rule. So whether you came at the 20-hour time, your partner will still be able to work full time. So yes, people come with their kids. I mean, we have a number of friends with their spouses and children who moved here on a student visa. So yes, that happens a lot, like all the time.
Wow, fantastic. Thank you very much for that.
No
For those
worries.
asking, one other thing I know about Australia is that even if you don't have a degree, you could find
Mhm.
vocational schools in Australia with
Yeah,
certain skills that would allow
yeah.
you. And I have videos that I've done on my YouTube channel where you can watch about vocational schools in Australia. Coming back to you now, what's the process and the requirements for people who want to move to Australia, coming through the educational route? What's the process like, and what do they need to have?
So it's pretty straightforward, to be honest, because you search for the university that you're looking for. I would usually say apply to like multiple unis. Don't just stick to one place. Like apply to as many as you can, and then once they send you, like they accept your admission and all of those things, before you do submit your application, some unis ask for English tests. So bear in mind, like if you don't want to do English tests, make sure you're only applying to unis that are not asking you for English tests. But if you are, then you have to submit English tests, your transcripts, and all those other, documents that you need to submit. But you know how America, they do things like GRE, and I don't know if that has stopped, but Australia doesn't do all of that. You just need like your documents, your credentials, and all of those things. Submit, and then when you do get the admission, those you will go do medicals. Something new that has happened now that wasn't there before is now they ask you for proof of source of income. So like, you know how if you have a sponsor, they want to know where that sponsor actually get their funds from. Before now, they weren't asking for that, but now they're asking. So the person needs to submit like maybe their, that Nigerian, when you register your business, I don't know what it's called now, but they'll ask you, they could ask for
Business
tax.
registration, yeah.
Yeah, that thing. And then they could ask you for your tax returns, like a tax report, to make sure that it's legit, whoever is sponsoring you. So that's something new that has recently happened. Otherwise, everything else is just you do your medicals, and if you're bringing other people, you all do medicals as well. And then they make you pay upfront the first semester of the tuition, just to show like your commitment and everything, and then you wait for your visa. It's pretty straightforward, like it's not. Yeah.
It's not okay. Okay, fantastic. So those are the processes and requirements. Guys listening, Australia is one place that if you have a third class, if you have a second class lower, if you have HND, it's one
Matter.
place you can go to. It doesn't matter your degree. Even if you don't have a degree, there are some schools like vocational
The
schools that we've
options, yeah.
mentioned that would take you in Australia. So you really need to consider Australia. Let's talk about scholarships. Scholarships in
Yeah,
Australia. Do we have scholarships? Can you give us some?
there's heaps of scholarships. So there's scholarships where the government sponsor, because they want people to move to the regions. So it's called destination scholarships. So the government want people to move to the regional areas. So they sponsor, I think, up to 1,000 per year. both domestic and international students. So that's one option. The other option is university specific scholarships. All universities have scholarships. Again, Torrens is one uni that you should check out. Torrens. The other ones, they like pretty much every university you apply to, there's always scholarship. But right now, because they're looking for students, they're all giving like discount scholarships on your tuition, just like they're doing in the UK. But if you want me to list, I'll pretty much list every like every of the uni, because they all have scholarship for different courses. But I know there's one from the government, particularly they want you to go to a regional area, and you can explore that one if you're happy to go to a regional area, and you get a scholarship. They pay like a bulk sum of your tuition for that one. But for these university specific ones, they vary. Like some are 10 grand, some are like full tuition if you're going to do like a research course, like a master in research or like a PhD. So it's case by case basis. So that's why I can't give specifics. So you really have to see
Fantastic.
what type of universities you
I
want.
think on a final note, I'd like to ask, so everybody's going to come to Australia, maybe through student route or through job route, but the
Mm,
idea, of course, is to get PR and stay behind.
yeah,
So what is the chance? I mean, if I come there to study a 2-year course or a 1-year course or a 4-year
yeah.
course, is there a chance for me to stay back in Australia? What's the whole situation with that?
Yeah, so I think right now it used to be like if you do a 2-year course, you get 2-year post-study visa stay. I think they've even now increased it to 3 years and more depending on your case. So it's now like 3 years if you study a 2-year course. Again, just to address the workforce shortages that's happening and to also attract more students to come. Australian government is really looking for students. So now is the time to actually, come in now if you want. What was the other question? Yeah, if you want to stay back, just make sure that you're studying a course that is in demand, because Australia fees are really expensive. So if you come here and study just any type of course that is not on the demand list, you're just going to finish and go back to your country. A lot of people come here and then they switch courses. They keep changing their courses because they find out that the course is not in demand. So make sure you do your due diligence and you're checking. One of the courses that is like, guarantee is nursing, there's social work. If you come through for social work or nursing, those are two courses that are like surely, you get your residency. But there are other courses as well. So you just need to make sure, do your research and be sure it's on high demand list. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Just to
No
run
worries.
down a summary of what we talked about. We're talking about moving to Australia today via the education route. And we've talked about the fact that you can move to Australia. It's a beautiful country with loads and loads of resources, and people are actually moving there. There's no discrimination in Australia. If you're a third class student, HND student, you don't have a degree,
Yeah.
Australia will take you. Again, like I said, I have vocational schools. I've done a video on my YouTube channel that you can watch with respect to vocational schools in Australia. We've talked about the fact that University of Sydney, UTS, La Trobe University are some of the universities that don't take IELTS. If you need to do HND, if you need to come in with HND, you need to do a graduate certificate.
Yeah.
And Australia would take you if you have third class. We've also talked about the fact that you can pay in installments, and one of the most affordable universities in Australia is Torrens University, and they allow you pay in installments. We also mentioned Kaplan Business School as well. We also talked about the fact that you can work while you study and you can move with your spouse. And when you move with your spouse is able to work while you study. We did talk that you can work and work and work and work till you quench. Nobody's going to hold you back. The process is quite straightforward. Of course, you need your passport, you need your transcripts, you need letter of motivation, you need your previous degree if you are coming there for a master's. If you're coming there for undergraduate, you need your secondary school certification as well. Look
Yeah.
for the right university. Make sure the course you want to pick is the one that is on the shortage occupations list, so that when you finish, it's able to get you're able to get a job. We also talked about scholarship opportunities. We did mention that every university in Australia has scholarships. So if you pick any university, they probably have discounts that they're giving or scholarship programs that you can apply for. We also talked about the regional scholarships, where the Australian government will send you to different areas in Australia, especially outskirts, just for you to explore those places and to pay the bulk of your tuition. We also talked about the Australian government scholarship, where they give you scholarships if you apply through the Australian government. Whoop! Fantastic, fantastic. So this has been how to move to Australia via education. Now we're going to make another video tomorrow, so stay tuned for another video about how to move to Australia via the job route. We'll be talking about job opportunities in Australia. We'll be talking about residency permits in another video. We'll be talking about the shortage occupations list tomorrow as well. So it doesn't matter what you have, you can move to Australia. Look, guys, this has been Aisha Lagoju. She has a YouTube channel and an Instagram page as well. You can follow her, you can send her DMs. She would answer you as much as possible. So I've just pinned handle there. It's Aisha Lagoju, Aisha, and Lagoju is Lagung. Please do follow her, send her DMs, she would
Thank
answer
you.
you. Make sure you follow our Instagram page, follow our YouTube channel. She makes videos, lots of videos
Thank you.
about moving to Australia. So if
Thanks.
Australia is where you want to go, make sure you follow this woman. She knows what she's talking about. So we'll be
Thanks.
making another video tomorrow about getting
Yeah.
jobs. So if getting jobs is what you want to do, tomorrow this time, 12 noon, we'll be talking about moving to Australia via the job route. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Have a lovely
Thank
day.
you. Thank you, Waka Waka Doctor. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.